Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit's Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Langeministudio, and Chase, who is better known as Kilk. That was actually the funnest, besides the battle itself, which I had fun of, you going down the stairs and being so paranoid that that was a trap in itself. Besides just being stairs, was actually one of...
Wait for all the stairs to go chunking, and now it's a slide, and we all start sliding
At first, when you said that, like, the floor drops and it becomes things, I was like, oh, this is a spiral slide that we're all getting, like, dropped down now because we passed it. I thought that's what was happening, but then the stairs, I was like, oh, that's even cooler, because now, when you drew it on the battle map, right, we could... It's just kind of where we ended up, like, walking.
Yeah.
My character was standing here, so I dropped 10 feet onto this thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm here. I guess we're going down now.
I guess we're going down.
And you kind of maneuvered your dancing lights to spiral down the center of the spiral staircase, or like wall-hugging spiral staircase as opposed to a center.
Dancing lights has been one of the most fun spells that I have.
Yeah, it's been so useful, yeah.
Especially because I'm the only one that can't see in the dark.
It's okay. It's okay, Tarbar, we still love you.
Which is wild to me.
Like, how do satyrs not see in the dark? I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Well,
You can't be a warlock. Get eyes of the, or get Devil's Sight.
Devil's Sight, yeah.
That's why I got Eldritch Sight, to where I can cast Detect Magic at will now. That's
Oh,
what I
nice.
got.
I was surprised you took Counterspell. That surprised me.
oh yeah,
That's not a spell that I felt that I expected the Conquest Paladin to take as he stomps through people's brains.
What? Shutting down spellcasters?
I mean, it makes sense as
Like,
a
oh,
player.
you're a spellcaster? Bam, you're my next target.
Right. Because they have, like, Mage
Actually,
Slayer
you might
feats
not
and
be
stuff,
the only
too.
one that doesn't have dark vision. I don't think Silvera does anymore.
Oh, as a capuchin?
As a capuchin.
Capuchin Hadozi.
Oh.
That
Yeah,
surprised me that Hadozis wouldn't have night vision.
No, I don't think monkeys
think.
do.
Well, I don't think most monkeys are.
Yeah, I don't think most monkeys have it.
nocturnal.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of real, you know? I mean, if humans don't have night vision, then, you know, if you're an evolutionist, then
Yeah, that's fair.
But
there's a flaw in the human design.
you guys go down this I say it's literally a 10-minute walk.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of you guys tried to ask if that counted for a short rest. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, you're still moving. Yeah, no, it doesn't count.
Not unless we're carrying Ramah.
Zone
Sleep, so we just
Zen's
carry
out.
her
Yeah.
for 15 minutes. We should do. Hey, you got enough strength. You could do that.
could
She
do
could
it,
just short rest all
Yeah,
the time.
just freaking papoose her on the back. Yeah, and just
Maybe we need to turn her into the Capuchkin.
Yeah, Hadozis do not have dark vision, so you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey.
Nice. I hate the Mage Council. They suck.
She hates you even more now because you took away her dark vision.
You guys get down to the end of these stairs, which is still halfway set up on our table.
Yeah.
To these double doors, which had a saying on it, which unfortunately I did not write down, but it was basically saying that hard work. Let's see if I can find it real quick, and we'll just. I cannot find the saying, unfortunately, but it was basically alluding that basically hard work equals sacrifice.
Yeah.
And
something like that.
love for work is sacrifice.
It was
Work,
something.
yeah.
Something about hard work.
It was
gives
basically
pleasure.
alluding to the people who built the temple and them sacrificing themselves.
Okay.
And that's what the next room led to, is you guys get down this long hall that has spiked pillars on it, which instantly sent off Vicky of like, we should not be going down that hall.
Yeah, we should not get on that.
Here comes
hallway.
more ropers.
Yeah, it's like,
We have roper PTSD.
Yeah, start Eldritch blasting all of them just to make sure that they're stone pillars.
You cast Detect Magic with Toy Bar
I
and
did.
picked up your first ever Black Cloud of Necromancy.
Yeah, so we started shooting.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I dispelled magic on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit Dispel Magic.
Yeah, that's what happened. I dispelled magic on it, and it dropped it.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
of
they're
the-
basically honeycombed inside the walls, so
Yeah.
buried inside the walls. And then, one falls, and then I said, and it's just a body that falls, and then I said it starts standing up and just groaning. And that's when literally 12 more come bursting out of
Coming
the wall.
out onto the ceiling of the wall. Yeah, that was...
And then,
This would have been a perfect place for Fireball. You
and
know?
then this
I don't have-
ghostly, like, feminine figure of a high priestess comes floating in as well at the doors at the end of the hall.
Yeah, that fight was really cool.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
The two mechanics that I really enjoyed about that fight was the ethereal stepping for them being able to just kind of show up wherever they want. Because a lot of D&D fights just end up as a front-to-back fight.
Yeah.
There's no strategy really involved in it.
Yeah, there's no like relocating going on.
Baldur's Gate got it away from that because you could shove people as like a free action.
Yeah.
You're free to
bonus action, actually.
What? Yeah, it was,
Because I did it.
it was something very simple.
It was a bonus action, and there was times where I was getting frustrated because I'd miss both times on my actions, and I just get petty. I'm like, I'm pushing you. Screw it.
douche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be petty.
But in normal D&D combat, it really does feel like it gets front to back.
It does. Yeah.
Which is fine. You know, in real life, that's how combat would end up happening anyway. The ranged people would stay in the back. The casters would make sure that the dudes with the shields are in front, right? That's just normal warfare.
It's designed that you have your tanks up front, and you've got your mids, and you've got your longs in the back. Yeah.
So having that priestess be able to do that ethereal teleport was really...
It really messes with the battlefield organization.
She starts hitting people that don't normally get hit early.
It was a Misty Step, which the way I had it written is she comes and reappears 2 spaces on the initiative. When it's 2 people's turns later on the initiative order, that's when she reappears.
Oh, okay.
It's within 60 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
that was a cool ability. Yeah,
I thought that was
very, very frustrating, but it was a cool ability.
That's the first time I've seen you get like.
Yeah, I'm like
as a player.
Yeah, she keeps popping around. I was like,
was it a spell or an ability?
I had it as an ability.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if she went to do it, if you could be like counterspell, and then she like stops. But then she would have to be taking legendary.
I would have rolled a fudge dice just because it was a homebrew thing.
No, I thought that ability was great, and I liked the zombies not being killed.
The undead fortitude.
Yeah, and then her raising more.
Was
really cool. Like that
was a callback to the Night King from Game of Thrones when he just does his arm raise thing and then.
Well, it's also just from just RPGs and stuff like video games. Is the boss keeps summoning ads.
Yeah, eventually you will get overwhelmed if you can't defeat
you've got to take care of the ads, otherwise they just swarm you.
You measure
death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah,
you you have to defeat this person, but you still have to deal with
every once in a while you have to turn on your AoE spell or whatever.
Merrick and the Crystal Dog tanked like champs.
Oh my god, yeah, there Merrick walked in and like those zombies dropped down and the High Priestess showed up, and Nate just starts, okay, roll a con save. Okay, roll a con save. Okay, like, what is going on here?
Yeah, you passed like 12 con saves straight. And I was just
basically that was, it does this amount of damage, make a con save, whatever amount of damage they took, their max hit points, maximum hit point total is now reduced by that amount until X happens.
Yeah, it's pretty much, to where it stops you from healing it.
As we've learned really quickly, until Greater Restoration.
Yeah, Greater Restoration is one of those damn powerful spells.
Yeah.
Actually, it's so that or another condition.
Death.
Right.
And then if you die, you come back as...
I guess, yeah.
I guess that is a condition.
That's one that's not listed.
Death is always a condition.
Okay. Yeah, death is always a condition, yeah.
It's just not one listed on the ability, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought those 2 abilities combined during that fight was really cool. It changed...
It definitely ratcheted up the pain.
Yeah, I never really felt it was still as the player. I never felt that we were really going to lose that fight, but it was a fun fight.
Mm-hmm.
I was like that was definitely one of those fights where I'm like, if Merrick didn't pass all those con saves, he was probably going down.
Things could have gone poorly.
Yeah,
right. But even with all the damage that you took. You still had like 90 health. Like, so I measure fights based off of how much health and how many resources were used.
Merrick was blood. I made a big deal of pointing out, okay, see, look what we're doing. And I put a bloodied ring on Merrick to show that I was below half, and I was probably closer to like a third.
Yeah, but below half for you with 170 something health is
40.
As the player, when it comes to combat, I measure how hard that combat was. By the end of the combat, how many of us are still standing? Of those still standing, how much health do they have? And then how many resources were utilized in that fight?
And if I'm going from a game mechanics point of view and just not a thematic point of view, that was meant to be a resource burn fight for me.
Yeah, and it was great. I loved it.
And that's what dungeons are supposed to do. Yeah. Like, mechanically, dungeons are supposed to have the players use resources to get through it to when they fight the boss, they are in a weakened state of some sort.
Yeah. It's the same thing animes do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? You know, you never have the main character fighting a difficult fight at full strength.
It reminds me of talking about anime. One of my favorite anime is Rurouni Kenshin.
Okay.
The original movie that is the TV show is completely different than the movie. Completely different theme. The movie is super serious, and at the end, Kenshin ends up fighting like 5 ninja. And it's a battle of attrition to where he's going down this path and the first ninja fights him. And it's there to like, they knew they couldn't beat him like one-on-one.
Right.
But they knew they could hurt him.
And grind him down.
And so that's what they were trying to do, was every time like a ninja would get a hit in on him, but Kenshin would do a lethal blow against them. If they could, they would stagger off and grab a chain and pull a chain and it would set a bomb off. And so the bomb did 2 things. 1, it could hurt Kenshin, and 2, it alerted the people down the path, hey, I just died.
Yeah,
And
I lost.
So as he's going down, he ends up getting to the final guy, but he is bloody. He is torn to shreds. He is on his last leg, and then the last guy is like, I can kill you now, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, so that reminds me of that, to where that was a very stylistic dungeon.
Yeah.
To where it was designed to weaken him so that the boss could take him out finally.
Yeah, that's the idea of D&D, right? Of
Yeah.
dungeons, is to get you to utilize resources, and so by the time you get to the boss,
You have to make those choices of, okay, do I heal these hit points now, or do I save that potion, or do I save the lay on hands for later? Yeah, it's you get that strategy involved.
I haven't seen us in a fight yet where I was scared of the TPK.
There was two that I was like generally nervous. The one where we were fighting the Nethelid, to where it came out of Bridget's neck, and when Merrick died twice.
Yeah, you died twice on that one. But like nobody else outside of Gilfickle during that fight had taken any damage. Like, so I'm looking at it like, for your character, that's a dangerous fight. For most fights, your character's in danger because you're the only.
I'm the only tank. Yeah.
But for me as the player, like as Toy Bar, like then I kind of glance over and I see, oh, Toe's still at full health, Ramah's still at full health. I might have taken a damage here or there because I don't really play him very strategically when it comes to staying out of damage way. But then I look and I'm like, oh, okay. So everyone's pretty much at full health. The tank took a bajillion.
Everyone's over here drinking tea, and Merrick's like, "Can I please get healed?"
Dumping it around.
I'm just happy that you're not a wizard that I used to play with back in like my second campaign ever, and he just played that wizard that sat in the back, and just like everybody else's beat the crap, and then he's sitting there at full health. He's like, "That was an easy fight. I didn't take anything."
And
and he'd be like, "That fight was way too easy."
And that's when the tanks are like, "Okay, I want to put you first."
Things would probably go a little bit different if I was playing my sorcerer as a damage-based sorcerer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we would have walked through that fight no problem.
But I'm purposely playing him not
Yeah.
damage-based sorcerer.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Tobe actually brought out some offensive spell.
He did.
He did.
I was stoked.
Yeah.
Call lightning, and then
I forget what it was, but
it was just a.
Oh, that erased all my... Oh, it did...
No, it was the one she did like towards the beginning. She did it in the hallway into the main chamber.
Yeah. She cast the one spell that almost killed all of my enemies.
That was called lightning.
That was called basically 1 HP.
Yeah.
4th edition minions.
They... just by the luck of the dice, they all lived with 1 HP.
Yeah, those little guys actually did pretty good.
I was like...
Oh, yes. You finally got to cast
animate
objects at its lowest ability to make as many, basically, little punching bags as possible.
Yeah, I did. Instead of tiny, I did small.
Yeah.
So here's the gripe I have about animate objects. Outside of the fact that it just bogs down combat. Right?
Yeah.
The gripe that I have is that you can make tiny objects.
Yes.
You can make small objects. Medium, large, and huge.
Yeah.
Right? I think you can do all of them. If you make a huge one, I think it's 1.
Yeah.
Because it uses all your points or something like that. I did not like the fact that when I was looking at the card for animate objects to decide what size that I wanted to make them, tiny and small do not cost any more. Tiny doesn't get more. Tiny and small are the same. Small just has more health. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking small. Like, why would I take tiny?
Huh, that's interesting.
You still use the same amount of points to create a tiny object as you do a small. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to make 10 little small objects. I won't do that anymore, by the way. That was probably the last time you'll see that spell.
That's fine either way.
It
was a very toy bar centric spell for that.
Yeah,
And
I was like, oh my god, there's a lot of dudes.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, fine. Here's my dude.
And they're just little like rocks rolling around, and it made
They were little rock
They didn't do
guys.
any damage. They just bogged.
Yeah, they just
basically
moved
the zombies
around
down, which was
and-
good because
Yeah.
they all, in my opinion, since they were allies, but they did have like a simple attack. They did do opportunities.
Yeah, they took opportunity attacks. I mean, they only could do like 7 damage total.
But
Still,
but
with
then
a
they had
zombie
the-
But if they get
a
hit,
zombie
it
that has
stops,
30
right?
health.
yeah.
I would say the crystal golem probably did a bajillion damage because they surrounded him. At
They
one
kept
point,
hitting
they kept
him, and
hitting
he
him,
kept-
and he kept exploding and hitting him with shards.
Because he has an aurora of it takes like 2d6.
He's got thorns, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the idea, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, they're breaking glass every time they hit him.
that's why I was like, we need to figure out a way to get you out of here and move him more forward to plug up that
he
hole
could
so that he just keeps.
every time he got hit, he was dealing damage.
He can take the zombie hits for us.
That's why I laughed when they did the raise maneuver. I go, you just watch these zombies that are just covered in glass. and,
Yeah.
like, sticking out, and they just stand back up.
'Cause the 2 of them were underneath him, so he couldn't.
And they are still pinned.
They were, yeah. 'Cause they hadn't been burned. They hadn't
Which
taken
is-
anything.
I felt zombie genre.
Oh, it was very appropriate for zombies. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they're not
still
going to
coming
move
out,
him off of him, like, but they're just going to be like.
yeah, exactly.
They can still do claw attacks and stuff while being pinned out of that.
And that's what I thought about. It's like, oh, they're pinned underneath them. They can't. I'm like, what am I talking about? They're just gonna hit them anyways. What,
Yeah, they're just
what does it
laying
matter
there
if they're
and
standing
just-
or sitting?
Scratching.
I'm like,
Yeah,
never
exactly.
mind. This still works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't even need legs, technically.
But the only problem is every time they hit, they did damage to all of them, but they only have an intelligence of like 4 or 3,
So they just
so they're
keep
not
hitting,
thinking
yeah.
Keep hitting.
tactically.
Yeah, just keep going. Yeah.
He did
Other
get
than
his-
when the mastermind secretly told them how it's like,
To do
you
so.
guys stay back and fire your little black bolts.
Yeah, those were punishing.
Yeah, those
That
black
was,
bolts were
that was punishing,
yeah.
and those were the primary purpose I did animate objects.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a reason to use that spell since I got it, and the reason that I took it was because of the dude we ran into at the beginning, who had the wooden chair walking for him.
Oh, Thirstwall.
Yeah, that's the reason I took that spell, is because his legs turned into wood, and then he basically was animated a chair or something to walk for him.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then
I remember
Toybar
now,
was
yeah.
like, how do you do that? And he's like, he did the Spider-Man great power,
And
great
then we'd
cost.
also talked how
It's like, okay.
Caskin had permanently enchanted his chair to basically be Newt Gunray's chair from the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just float around there.
Skitter around on legs.
And Toybar was like, man, this is so cool.
This is dope. I want that.
And he can't really do that with animate objects, but it's close enough for Toybar.
Yeah,
You
he's like,
could
yeah.
with the chair if you really wanted to skitter.
Oh, yeah, if I wanted to make a chair.
Just so like, see, I can do that now too. Boop.
Yeah. But no, but it made sense for Toy. I like the idea. I like Toybar's little
Yeah, no, that was
grabbing spells that he's kind of seen cast.
Like, oh hey,
but don't work the same way. They're like a little messed up.
But they're
yeah,
close enough. Like, see, I can do that too. Okay,
little-
well, it's not the same. Yeah, it is.
little boulders
It's-
rolling around.
It's
where
thematically
toilet is.
how you play him,
Yeah.
how it is, because
Yeah.
he doesn't know magic, but he knows magic, but he's learning magic on his own.
It's
Yeah.
definitely on.
There's
its
no
own.
formal education,
Yeah, exactly.
I,
yeah.
I do try to do my best with.
and
with
he's a
him
chaos
to try to
mage.
keep
So
him close to,
Yeah.
to what he would be. I did take Dream of the Blue Veil. I was going
what's
to take
that
it
one do
eventually.
again?
That's the end of the campaign spell.
Okay. It creates your own pocket dimension or something like that.
Dream of the Blue Veil puts you and X amount of people around you who are willing to sleep,
Uh-huh.
and you will all have dreams during that sleep that are separate from everybody else's, at least the way that I have it. But regardless of what happens in that dream, at the end of it, you will come to a blue veil in some way, shape, or form. And when you pull open that curtain and you step out, you step out into whatever realm that the caster had
caster
decided
deems.
that we were going to. It's a teleportation spell to another realm, but you have to sleep for
You
6
have
hours.
to. Well, and in D&D, this is his actual realm. The dream realm is actually a thing, so you're technically doing plane shift through a sleep.
Yeah. And you have
Yeah,
to
it's
sleep
really-
for,
yeah.
anyone who sleeps for the full 6 hours gets teleported to the location.
I'm glad that the D&D went realistic with that by saying full sleep for 6 hours, because
They
that
did.
is a realistic amount of sleep for the real world anymore.
Yeah, 6 hours. Yeah.
If for some reason the caster gets woken up, I think,
Yeah.
or somebody gets woken up, they do not get teleported. But if the caster gets woken up, nobody gets teleported.
Oh, okay. That makes
But
sense.
it was one of these spells where I looked at it and I was like, this is a very end of campaign spell.
Yeah,
This
that's how we get home.
Let's
Yeah.
go home, guys. And then, Toy Bar casts his thing, and anyone who's still there who's willing to go back to there, because who knows?
Wolf, sheep. No.
Yeah. Because, like, Merrick might not. You're now the Sword of Onslaught. Like,
Or what?
it would be weird for you to show back up. Maybe not, because they probably have.
What was the moment with the last session we were talking about duck, duck, goose? Because somebody cast a spell. It was Silvera, wasn't it?
It was Silvera, yeah, and it was and we're like, yeah, it was like the Nordic version of Duck, Duck, Goose, and it was like sheep, wolf or something like that.
Yeah,
But or sheep, or wolf, raven.
Yeah, wolf, wolf, raven. Yeah, that's what it was.
And
yeah.
what was she casting? Because she had to touch everybody. It was like a buff up or something like that, or a healing spell, if I remember right.
I don't
I'd
remember.
Was it her healing light or something like that?
Something like that. I can't remember.
But yeah, she had to touch everybody, and then we're sitting around like playing Duck, Duck, Goose, and we changed it, to wolf, raven.
This little small Hadozi, which I recently went to the Henry Doorly Zoo, which is literally the best zoo in the world, and rated as such, and they had
second best. It's rated as second best in the world.
Okay, then it's the first in the U.S.
It's the best in the U.S. Yeah,
Which is weird to me.
But
yeah,
I live here and I see it all the time.
I've been to a couple of zoos around the United States. Henry Doorly is head and shoulders above a lot of them. Yeah.
But they have like the little monkeys there at their little Madagascar exhibit, which I don't think is a capuchin, but it's something else. But it's nice to like, okay, and I now have a mental reference of what a capuchin. Yeah, I should have. I didn't think about it until after. It's like, this is Silvera. Hey, how's it going? But I did have fun in that last fight, especially as a DM. It felt like you guys had to actually think.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
You guys couldn't just charge in there and just overtake things.
Yeah,
and I think if you guys hadn't, cast Undead or Detect Magic and had...
I don't think anyone was walking into that room.
No.
Oh, hell no. No.
Players, we understand boss battle rooms when we see
Yeah, it's like I walk in, I'm like, Merrick looks at us, that's a trap.
Yeah.
That's a trap.
We were like ropers.
And the room layout that I used is basically almost a T hallway with two alcoves, a capital T hallway with the double doors at the end of the hall of the top of the T, and then the two little side alcoves for the side of the top of the T with spiked pillars going up the main drag. And yeah, that's literally, I got that from the Skyrim game guide of just like looking at some of those dungeons.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you? Very cool.
Yeah. That's why I'll, if it's like single player RPGs, I'll get the players guides because I like the maps.
Yeah,
I'll grab the maps and I'll do it. Yeah.
I almost did that with the Dragon Age Inquisition last week until I realized, I already have this.
Dragon Age Inquisition, yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, it was definitely one of those fights to where I'm now, it concerns me for the next two floors. Because when we got done, Nate's like, okay, you're halfway done. I went, oh, damn.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, what's the next two? Because I know there's going to be a boss.
Well, this is now the second floor, so.
Yeah, there's a boss fight at the end that I know, like, okay, we've got to.
You know a doozy's coming. You don't know exactly. Well,
yeah, I don't
seen the little mini that it's like.
Yeah, the little mini.
Yeah, the gargantuan mini.
Yeah, there you go. It's like the size of. It's bigger than a friggin' soda can, I mean, come on. So yeah, I know there's something big coming. It's just
right.
I'm worried now what's between us and it. Because that one, we kind of took it in the shorts on that one a little bit.
Yeah, my glass golem has had his max health reduced a little bit.
Does that work on constructs, or does it have to be alive?
It didn't say anything about doesn't work on a construct, so.
He didn't say it didn't, so I
okay.
And to be honest, the move was life drain, so.
It's fair enough. It's got a soul in it, right?
If it didn't say it was
sucking soul energy, we'll assume.
Okay.
Even by Hebrew mythology, golems have a soul of some sort.
Technically, yeah.
So
it's been bound into them, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to what comes next.
I also used a old 4th edition mechanic, which brought back memories for Brent at the end of that fight of a death whale. Basically, if it drops 0, it does just an explosion, basically.
Yeah, no, I like when it comes to like beings like the the Banshee or whatever
Banshee,
it was.
High Priestess. It was
mix of It makes sense, right?
The stat block
Some of
I
those
used
monsters
was called the
don't make sense.
Deathlock Mastermind,
Hmm.
and then I made it a priestess.
I use that actually in 4th edition. If you ask Tove and another one of my players, it was called a Blade Wraith from 4th edition, where it was a wraith that had 4 arms and it was 4 blades, and it had it was a death throws to where it made 4 blade attacks against everything within melee range around it. I almost killed a player that way. Like he was down to like.
And that's the reason why I use it, is because I've knocked took a couple players with me, not
Yeah.
kill them, but
Yeah.
knock them out.
Yeah, knock him out of the fight. Yeah.
It's also just another way to use resources, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because usually to bring that player back, even if it was like a mini boss, right, you have to use a spell slot, or you have to use.
Vivify or
Yeah.
Me and Brent have talked about that. That's some of the little triggers and mechanics I like to use from 4th edition. I like the death throws,
Yep.
or the final death strike, or when it gets down to half HP, it automatically just does this,
Yeah.
or legendary actions and all that.
Legendary actions.
Well, like every boss on his is going to have legendary resistances. Since I took my meta magic thing, it's not going to have a choice.
Player goals. Get a legendary resistance ability.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, it takes a disadvantage with heightened spell, if I remember right.
I could basically make them roll with disadvantage on every ability thing that I want them to.
Oh, if you pump in spell points to it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And
Unless you like,
Cautious, hideous laughter around.
if it's a really nasty spell, yeah, you'll make me burn through those legendary resistances real quick.
And I didn't even think about that. I'm just like, oh, this sounds cool. I can make disadvantage on this. And then he was like, I hate that thing. And I thought about it, I'm like, oh, that's like a DM's worst nightmare. Like every round I can just be like, heightened spell,
Boom,
heightened spell, heightened spell.
And beforehand, if Vicky goes or if Merritt goes and we do an attack on it that makes it do a save, he's like, oh, I want a legendary reaction.
Right.
I want a
You
legendary
don't
save
hear that out of me often. You don't hear me complain about abilities. I'm like, oh,
No.
that sounds nasty, or that's
There are
Yeah,
specific
that's
abilities
nasty.
that I don't take, right? I don't take the lucky feat.
yeah.
I just think
I do because I roll like shit.
I can't take the lucky feat with this character, at least, because I already have so many ways to affect the outcome of rolls. Right? I have bend luck already. You know, I can heighten spell things now.
Yeah.
I can, I just have too many ways to do it, and I feel like that's not
If
fair. That's probably
I
the best
gotcha.
way to be, and
I
I
gotcha.
try to be fair.
if I was playing a divination wizard, I'd totally just dive into altering the roles of everything.
Yeah.
If that was your gimmick for the character, yeah.
Yeah, just like, no, we're just going to change all the rolls.
I even
Yeah.
use my bend luck pretty sparingly.
That
Yeah.
that was one of the cool things about divination wizard, because I did play like a couple levels into it, and like at the beginning of each day, they you roll 3
Is
d20s,
it 3?
and
2 or 3?
3,
3? Okay, cool.
and then you record the numbers on the d20s, and then you just randomly throughout the day you can either replace an enemy or a friend's.
Yeah, you can
roll
select.
20 with that
number.
number, yeah. So if you roll a 1, oh, some enemy's getting screwed.
Yeah, Subwood's not having a good day.
Yeah.
But no, that's not the style of wizard. I know that I could do that with Toy Bar, right?
Yeah.
Especially now that I roll twice on my surge table.
Yeah.
And I take whatever one I want.
Yeah.
I don't even do that.
Yeah.
I did the other day because there's a lot of things on my surge tables because I have so many things that just don't apply to the situation.
Yeah, there's
So I will take a negative outcome if it affects the situation.
if it's thematically appropriate, yeah.
Like if it's like, oh, you can walk on water for the next day.
That doesn't mean jack.
And I'm like, I'm in the realm of fire. Like, I'm going to use the other one.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
This last session, you grew 6 inches.
That's why I took that one.
Yeah, then you were
1 inch.
then you slowly yeah.
I took, I grew 1 inch and then it goes down over the next 24 hours. But my other roll was the walk on water for an hour. And I'm like, that's going to do nothing in this. So let's take the one that does something, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me if it said walk on water or you immediately dropped to 0 hit points, would you have taken the 0 hit points? The answer is yes. I would have taken 0 hit points. It creates an outcome. That's what I'm looking for in my wild magic table surges. Is I'm looking for an outcome that does something.
If it said water, liquid surface, I'd definitely have to
It just
randomly put in
it says
in a lava
water.
room.
Yeah, like
It says water straight up, and I was just like, "This is not happening right now."
you walk into a room and it's a pool of lava, except for the very middle, it's been dried and there's a stream running through
Right.
it. What? Why is this here? They gotta
It's
drink
Odin.
something.
I like the wild magic surges doing something that can either be utilized in combat, good or bad, or utilized in roleplay, good or bad.
Yeah.
Right? The bubble's coming out. That's fine. Toy
Yeah.
bar looking like a girl.
Yeah,
sometimes.
like
multiple
those are
times.
fun. Like,
Yeah.
right, like these are
Multiple
fun
times.
things that we interact with as a table, but the amount of times where I've been like, oh, I just get advantage on charisma checks for the next hour
Yeah, those are
in the middle of combat.
You go
like,
Riz mode.
Yeah, I could.
Rizzler.
Stupid filter.
And the reason that I don't go down those roads when I get those outcomes is because I'm also afraid as the player of taking up too much of the story during that session.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I got you. Yeah.
Because I already
It's a shining moment. Then I understand.
Yeah. Everyone deserves their moment in the spotlight. Yeah.
because I feel like, and it could just be their playstyles,
Yeah.
right? Tove is a very passive player. Vicky is also a very passive player, but the difference is I think it's because she's still not comfortable being the active player. She wants to be, she's just not comfortable doing it. And so usually it falls to you and I. And I'm playing a very passive character that doesn't make choices very often. So then it usually falls to you.
I'm like, okay, we're doing this. Let's go.
And it's worked out really well for me as Toy Bar because he's like, okay, we're going this way. Like,
Yeah, there were a couple of times I've been like, Toy Bar, we're doing this. I'll grab Toy Bar and pull him along. He goes, why are you bringing me with you?
yeah, I'm like, all right, I guess we're going this way.
So yeah, when Vicky came up, it was like, I have an idea. I'm like, oh, absolutely, yeah, go for it, yeah. And I will figure out how Merrick goes along.
I'm
with
doing
it.
my
Yeah,
best not to
absolutely.
basically make Toy Bar as a big central figure of the story.
Yeah.
Right. I want everybody to have.
If you like changed that these last 4 levels, I don't think you'd still be. I think we're all
you've done
respective of each other's.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It's just something that I worry about. There's times where like I'm doing something with you guys and we're talking, and then in my brain I'm like, we've been on this point
We need to
for like 10
yeah,
minutes.
Yeah,
Regardless of what I'm trying to do, it's time to move forward.
exactly. Yeah,
And so then I'm like, okay, then I just do this and we move.
yeah, and that's the sign of an emotionally mature adult is knowing we're here to have
Right.
fun, but in the grand scheme of things,
Or,
this is a game. Let's
let's
just do
it's
something.
not like what will be now our last episode talking about D&D etiquette, where you're trying to pass off 5 golden statues marked 1 through 5 on them and spend a half hour trying to sell them off as collector's items like we did in the previous campaign with the previous group.
And that's fine. Like, there are some groups that like the back and forth. I mean, if there wasn't people like that, then we wouldn't have things like Supermarket Simulator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hate that's a thing.
There's so many people who love those
Oh,
types
I
of
know.
games, man.
I know.
And I'm
I
just like,
do love a good shopping session just in itself, but it's been such a reactive story that we haven't had that.
we're
Yeah.
also in, you know,
We're
If
also
you got-
in
Honestly, if you
fire,
guys would
yeah, Realm of
have,
Fire, yeah.
just had Baba Yaga, it's like, hey, what wares are you carrying? And she would have took you to the back of her thing. It's like, here's my little store, talk to so-and-so, and
yeah.
all that. They'll make trades and deals with you that aren't requiring one of your emotions.
Yeah, it's like, but you're Baba Guy. Yeah, I got needs. I got stuff. That
Yeah,
I
but
got
I
stuff that I gotta
I
get.
got cool stuff
I'm
to sell, I
sorry,
assure you.
I'm sorry, your little gnome's empathy ain't gonna pay the bills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I need gold for stuff. Yes, I got to snap my
it's good
fingers,
fun.
but yeah, exactly. It's gonna be really interesting. I'm definitely interested to see where this all goes, and I'm interested to see what Nate does with Soul Razor when Merrick kills something finally.
Oh.
Because Merrick hasn't killed anything since the Raven got put in it, or since the Nagpaw got
I've
put in it.
already told Chase
I know a little bit about it.
Okay.
what my
It's
plans
funny.
are for the sword as of right now.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
It's good.
Because I wanted to see, it's like, does this seem like it's too hokey?
No, it doesn't.
Because
I think it's fantastic. It's very, what he wants to do is very thematic to what's been happening to your character through the whole campaign. So I'm very,
it's gonna betray me. No, God,
but like, it's just funny.
it's gonna let me down. It's gonna.
No, I wouldn't say let you down.
Because Nate and I were talking because I get a boon from Surtur, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this thing? I don't know what to do with it.
More health.
And well, I
Double
could,
boon.
I
Double health
could
boon.
be like, yeah, I could, take, there's a feat healthy or or whatever.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I
you could become toughness and then probably have 200 HP right now.
Yeah, exactly. I could have done that,
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, yeah, but I'm like,
Oh, gosh.
I know, right? Like, try and kill me now.
You'd be like Dark Souls Boromir with
It would just
30
be power
arrows in
word
you.
Kill after power word kill after power word kill.
Power word kill doesn't work on you unless it's you're under 100.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, does it do damage? I didn't think so. I think it's,
I think it doesn't
you have
affect,
to-
but then if you're below HP,
if
it
if you're
kills you
100
outright.
if you're under 100 hit points, it just flat kills you. Yeah. But yeah, like the boon I took
It's something
was
like
a
that,
homebrew one that Nate made from Tales of the Valiant, to where Merrick can now telepathically speak with a single.
Sight Arcanist from Tales of the Valiant, which basically gave you telepathy, telekinetic ability, and one other thing.
Yeah, you had to pick one of the three abilities, and you could take this feat over and over again to gain all three.
So Power Word Kill, 9th level, casting one action, 60 feet with range. You utter a word of power that can compel one creature to see within range to die instantly. If the creature you choose has less than 100 hit points or fewer, otherwise it just dies.
Yep.
Otherwise the spell has no effect.
Yeah, so you're like,
Yeah.
so it's like power word kill.
Oh, speaking of which, that was actually one of my other points that I actually was really happy with the DM, because you cast a power word and I asked you,
I
what's
did.
the word?
I still
And
haven't.
then you're just like,
Because it was what word was it?
So it was pain, I think.
power word pain.
Power
Yeah.
pain. Okay, which is a very dark spell for Toy Bar.
Well, I got it after. That's the spell that I took when Zingshi showed up,
Oh, okay.
and I saw Gilfickle get killed.
Okay. Yeah.
So we leveled up right after that.
Yep, we did.
That's also where I used the zombie move, Finger of Death.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then you guys leveled to 15 after that.
I said it was going to be Toy Bar is going to start casting a lot
Mhm.
worse things as we continue.
Because you're seeing a lot darker.
His
You're getting into the
happy-go-luckiness
darker
is
roots of the
lowering.
story.
Yeah.
His happy-go-luckiness as a Fae is going down, and I know we've talked a lot about it, but
Yeah.
there's a fine line between light and dark Fae in my mind.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Um,
Just because they're the part of the Sealy Court doesn't mean they're good. Yeah.
so we'll see where Toy Bar ends up in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think a good pop culture reference to the balance between that is the Fawn and Pan's Labyrinth. It's
Pan's
like,
Labyrinth was a really good movie.
It's like very innocent, but you can tell it's a dark Fae. It still calls into question at the end of the movie whether that was in the girl's mind or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, did that really happen? Or because there's a lot of messed up stuff that happens in that
Yeah.
movie. A lot of messed up.
Because you can see it
stuff.
going either way.
Yeah.
I'd like to believe that actually happened because she's seeing so much, so they came to her, but
Right.
who knows?
It could be just her made up world to cope with
Mhm.
the Second World
And
War.
Del Toro made it that way. Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.